idea was very clear. We wanted to provide good quality education to the masses.
Where do you see Oda Class really going? What's that big dream that you have envisioned?
Our aim for the next 2 years is to ensure we cross 1 lakh students and then maybe go for an IPO.
AI or human teachers, who's better for learning?
For me, human teachers any day. I'm a 90s kid.
What would you say are going to be the biggest challenges in your entire journey now towards the scale up?
Constantly provide good quality education. It's a challenge, but I think we can overcome it.
Quality education can often be either too expensive or too inaccessible for a lot of students. But what if you could solve that with technology? Well, that's exactly what Oda Class is doing. I'm Avni Raja, and on today's episode of Startup to Scale Up, Oda Class's co-founder is joining me. Vedant, thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to us. Welcome to the show. So let me straight away start off by asking you about your journey. You co-founded Oda Class back in 2019, if I'm not wrong. What really sparked the idea for this and made all of you believe that you could make a difference in EdTech?
Thank you so much for having me on your show. Yeah, Oda Class was founded in 2019 by me and Liu Can. So our idea was very clear. We wanted to provide good quality education to the masses. And in India, a lot of people, even when we were kids, we did not have access to a lot of things, a lot of online learning, a lot of niche learning, which we wanted to, bridge in the gap through Oda Class. So we started this EdTech company in August 2019. And our main aim was to ensure that good quality online live education reaches to the students all across the country. So if you see, most of our lectures, even today, you can see on our app, our Oda app is there. We want to promote mobile-based learning, live online learning. If you go and see in countries like Japan, China, majority of the population studies on tablets, on mobile phones, but in India it is still not very prevalent. People are still cautious when it comes to online learning. In tier 1 cities, people are still used to laptops, but if you go to tier 2 and tier 3, it is the ratio is very less. So our main objective was to ensure that live online learning reaches the masses through our platform. And most of our lectures, even today, you can see on our app.
Yes. So let's talk about the students for a second. What's the typical journey like for somebody signing up for Oda Class? How do you make sure that each child gets the most out of their learning experience?
Yes, good question. So whenever a student enrolls for Oda Class, he enrolls for 1 year course, the master program course, which is our flagship program. So in that, we teach 5 subjects: maths, science, English, social science, and computer science. And the student is assigned one personal mentor teacher apart from the master teacher who takes live online classes. So whenever he has any doubts, he needs help with solving assignments, any updates regarding schoolwork, curriculum, the personalized mentor teacher is there to help him. And we are one of the cheapest in the country. You're getting a personalized mentor teacher for each subject to help you solve your doubts and clarifications.
Just to take that forward, Vedant, one thing that caught my eye is a combination of short-term courses for 99 rupees and then, of course, the longer-term programs for around 17,000 rupees. So how do you make both ends of the spectrum work without compromising on the quality?
So basically, the short-term course, which we call the bridge course, it's like a trailer, and the long-term course, which is the 1 year course, it's like the movie. So we ensure that if someone is not sure about the quality of learning in Oda Class, who's not seen our teachers, so they first enroll for the 1 week course, which ranges from 29 rupees to 149 rupees depending on the class. Once you enroll for 1 week, you can see the quality of our teaching, how our teachers teach in these short-term courses. And only if you're comfortable, we suggest you to go ahead with the long-term course. Even as of today, we are enrolling close to 600 students every week in a long-term course. And we have a combined total 50,000 long-term students enrolled in Oda Class as of now. That's a big number.
Yes, absolutely. That's a big number, and I'll get to that in a bit. But for the over the long term, say maybe next 5 to 10 years, where do you see Oda Class really going? What's that big dream that you have envisioned?
See, our dream has always been consistent from day one, to provide quality education to as many students as possible all over the country. And as of now, we have enrolled 50,000 students, and our aim for the next 2 years is to ensure we cross 1 lakh students, and then maybe go for an IPO. So that is our long-term goal over the next 3 to 4 years.
And what is the plan in terms of whether it's the resources, the funding to get to that scale up level, to get to the IPO level?
Yes. See, EdTech is a very capital-intensive industry. Uh, uh, so you need regular funding to do research for marketing, and our theme is artificial intelligence. Our 2024 theme is artificial intelligence. So we need good capital to ensure that the education is maintained and constantly running. So our major partners, our major investors are Matrix, Skywalker, and we've just received $500,000 of funding in Series B last month, and we are hopeful of more funding in the coming months. So funds as of now is not an issue. We have enough funds to uh, run the business.
Right. And what about any kind of numbers that you can give us, the path to profitability? How do you see that panning out?
We are not profitable yet, honestly speaking, but we are expecting that we'll break even by end of next year.
Okay.
Once our projections are close to 80,000 students for the next academic year. So
Mhm.
once we achieve that, then is the path to profitability. Because in EdTech, what happens? It's an exponential growth. It's not like 1, 2, 4. It's like 1, 8, 16, 64, like this. So the initial years you have to put massive capital to grow your business, to show quality to to everyone outside, and then you can raise your valuations pretty high.
Right. On the larger front, as far as EdTech is concerned, obviously pre-pandemic, it was extremely nascent. The pandemic then provided that big boost as far as EdTech is concerned. How do you see it scaling up over the next few years, especially now with AI coming into the picture? And how does Oda Class plan to fit into that picture?
Yes. See, India has the biggest market in the world, and education is something that everyone is willing to pay. Everyone wants to pay, and everyone wants good quality education. And I think COVID gave India a catalyst to go from offline to online. Before COVID, even we were a little apprehensive when it came to online learning. But even today, if I want to learn anything new, anything related to any field, I just search for a course online. No one, and people want to save time on travel. People want to save energy, and online learning is the future. In the coming years, you'll see India Uh, traditionally moving from completely offline to online learning. It will take few years, but online is the complete future for everyone in the world. So it's a big market. I see big growth in online learning now. Even Byju's during its peak could not penetrate a substantial portion of India's learning population. So yeah, big market.
Vedant, you mentioned Byju's, so I have to ask you this. Obviously, we've seen a lot of issues with such a big company like Byju's in the last couple of years. Do you think that has had any kind of impact on the edtech space as a whole in terms of perception of people?
I think people were a little skeptical to put money in EdTech, honestly,
Hmm.
for a year or two in between. But now with Physics Wala also raising close to 210 million, we also raising a small amount of 500,000. I think people's trust in EdTech is coming back because they know quality education is the future. Live online learning is the future, and this is one field where there is constant growth, constant
Right,
learning. So
right.
I believe people's perception will again become positive. It's always like if a Titanic falls, it takes time to sink in.
And what would you say are going to be the biggest challenges in your entire journey now towards the scale up point, towards the IPO?
So right now we are close to 650 employees. We plan to scale it to 800 plus 800 to 900 in the next 6 months. I believe our biggest challenge is to constantly provide good quality education. And, this is something which is capital intensive, which uh, we need to ensure that we have the top quality teachers, the top quality academic mentors which provide the service. Even today, all our teachers are from top institutes all over India, IITs, NITs, Delhi University, Bombay University. Yeah. And so we may make sure we do not compromise on quality. So ensuring good quality within the framework is something is a challenge, but I think we can overcome it. Yeah.
Let's quickly do a rapid fire segment. I'll ask you quick questions and quick answers from you as well. What's one word to describe your entrepreneurial journey?
Unbelievable.
Okay, AI or human teachers, who's better for learning?
For me, human teachers any day.
Okay.
I'm a 90s kid, so yeah, human teachers.
Okay, all right. What's the most fun part of your job?
That I get to interact with a lot of customers every day and take their feedback and try to solve their problems. That is what gives me happiness here. To understand people's concerns here.
The one biggest challenge that you faced during the initial days of the startup?
So in the initial days, my biggest challenge was to hire good quality management and good quality teachers for our company, because any education company, teachers are the face of a company, you know. So to ensure that we had the top quality teachers from all over India, that was a challenge. And that took a lot of brainstorming, and that is something I still believe was very special to me during the initial days of growing phase. Yeah.
And finally, what's the one piece of advice that you would give any aspiring EdTech entrepreneur?
Well, a small suggestion, I would say, not an advice. Make
Right.
sure that your core principles are always the same to provide good quality education.
All right, Vedant, we leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us and taking the time out.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. Thank you. Bye bye.